I'm going to tell you how I got psychic. But I want to give a disclosure first. If you are going to listen to this, you have to know over the next 24, 48 hours, your intuitive senses, your psychic senses are going to be absolutely heightened. I had just had a baby and was home from the hospital for about 2 weeks. And I was up in the middle of the night, about 2 a.m. I was nursing him and I saw my father-in-law in spirit. Now, to be fair, this wasn't the absolute first time that something like this had happened to me, but this time I knew it was significant. It was my son's grandfather, and he actually died when my husband was just 7 years old, so I never even met him, but I just knew that that's who it was. And spoiler alert, like nothing crazy actually happened. He didn't talk to me, I didn't hear anything, but I clearly saw who this man was. And knew that he was, at the time, what I would have referred to as a ghost. I wasn't scared, but I was also a little concerned. But the next couple days is when things really started getting interesting because I did start hearing things, I did start feeling things and knowing things, and I got really anxious, and I reached out to a girlfriend of mine who I knew was pretty spiritual and kind of into that kind of stuff. And she said to me, why don't you go see a psychic? Now here I'm thinking I have some like major postpartum depression going on, right? Or something, postpartum schizophrenia, something like that. And she says, go see a psychic. And I'm like, what the hell is a psychic medium? But I trusted my friend and it was close to my birthday. So I decided to give myself a birthday reading. Now I'd never had a reading before. Like I just said, what is a psychic medium? I'm still envisioning the traditional gypsy looking, crystal ball seeing, tarot card flipping psychic. And my experience could not have been further from that. So I get to this woman's house who I have booked a reading with, and come to my surprise, it's like a very nice, normal house. There's no crystal ball, any of those, psychic stereotypes. And she brings me in her back room in like a part of her house where she's doing her readings, and sits down, and in front of her is a notebook, and she said she already had some messages coming through for me. So the reading starts, and it's about a 30-minute reading, and over the course of 30 minutes, she brought forward all kinds of really beautiful information. It was so inspiring and light and just full of love and vibrant energy. Nothing dark, nothing scary. Connected me actually with my dad who had crossed over. Felt very validating. But then something happened. She, at the end, says to me, do you have any questions? And I said, actually, I do. Why does this keep happening to me? Why do I keep hearing voices? I'm seeing my father-in-law in spirit. Like, what in the hell is actually going on? I'm scared. Like, am I schizophrenic? Like, I just had a baby? Like, am I what is going on with me? Now, this is your last warning. You can end it here, or you can keep going and watching and be prepared for what's going to come. Okay. So she says to me, don't you understand? You're supposed to do what I do. And I looked at her and I said, oh yeah, I remember now. And in that moment, we had the oddest exchange. She kind of looked at me and I kind of pulled myself back. I didn't even recognize almost like this, where that came from in me. Like, it was my voice, but the response was so out of the blue. It was very natural. It wasn't scary. It just was such an odd response considering I knew nothing about psychics, mediumship, anything at all. Like I just had my first experience. But I knew. I can't describe it, but I knew she was right. It felt right. And as soon as I left there, my girlfriend who arranged the reading for me, I started delivering messages to her. And within a couple of days, I started doing full on evidential mediumship for people, delivering messages. Within a couple of weeks, I had my first reading at my kitchen table for a couple who I'd never met before, only knew their first names, and for 2 hours connected them with all of their past loved ones, 4 different sets of grandparents, parents, and even a child that they had lost. I'm sure you can see where this is going. Now it is 11 years later, and I have done over 10,000 readings and have created a 7-figure business as a psychic medium. I'm one of the top paid mediums on this planet and now help other psychic mediums build their businesses. And I believe if you're watching this, you're a psychic medium too. If you made it this far, there is something waiting for you inside of you for you to remember too. Now you're going to want to hit save and follow for this video because most likely, like I told you, over the next 24 to 48 hours, you might have some pretty cool intuitive experiences happening, some spiritual encounters. So I want you to come back and watch this. Come fast forward to this part and just remember, there is nothing scary, there's nothing dark, it's nothing bad. It is all good energy that's going to be coming your way. And remember that part where I said, oh yeah, I remember now? I want you to tell me in the comments, did you feel anything? Did you get chills? I call them truth bumps. What happened to you when you heard me say those words? And make sure to check out the links in my bio for spiritual and psychic support, development, guidance, free events, free courses, content. Would love to support you in your psychic journey. Cheers to your remembering.